Hey there, good afternoon. I'm Trey Sedana for HISD Now, and thank you for tuning in for this special live district announcement. In just a moment, we're going to be going inside HISD, that is, and you'll be hearing from students, teachers, and administrators who are behind the district's remarkable transformation. But first, here with more is Superintendent Mike Miles.
Yeah? Okay. Hi, everybody. We're here to talk about a challenge, a belief or hope, a way, and a promise. And then I will take questions, okay? So I'll try to be pretty quick. So the challenge is the American public education system has been failing for quite some time, including in Texas and in HISD. And what I mean by that is we have not been able to close the achievement gap. We've not been able to raise proficiency at scale, especially large urban districts in this country. Achievement gap is as large as ever, and we're not gaining in proficiency. The last NAEP, National Assessment of Educational Progress, spoke to that. And if you bring it closer to home in Houston, this is the map of HISD. So the challenge is, can we do something about the poor performing schools and renew the promise to public education? The map of Houston in 2023. I probably should use this, shouldn't I? The map of Houston in 2023, you can see that. The pink and red dots are the failing schools, DNF schools. There are 121 DNF schools in 2023 out of the 273 schools that we have. The thing is, though, in any large urban district, including in HISD, you actually don't need this map. You could put the circles on yourself if you know Houston. Meaning, if you go to any urban district, including Houston in 2023, if you know where the students are challenged by poverty and language barriers, you would put a pink, red, or maybe a yellow dot, like this. If you know Houston, you know the areas that are challenged by poverty, language barriers. By zip code, you would know where the lowest performing schools are. You also see the area where there is no circles, and you also know that's an area where there are higher performing schools, the green and light green dots, but also the higher socioeconomic areas of town. And that is not unusual for any large urban. But this is Houston today. This is Houston today. You cannot tell, if you're not from Houston, by looking at this map, where your high poverty areas are, or where your areas where people are challenged by language barriers. 74% of all of our kids are attending an A and B campus. We went from 93 A and B campuses 2 years ago to 197. Every single student is close to an A or B school in this district, and not one student attended an F-rated school this year. You can't tell. For the first time ever, geography does not dictate destiny. Zip code does not dictate destiny. That's a fact. And beyond the school ratings, I mean, we talk about these A and Bs, but what's really happening is you have kids who can read at grade level more than at any other time. It's not just about growth. It's about both growth and being at grade level. We have thousands more kids reading at grade level than ever before. We have thousands more kids doing math at grade level than ever before. And we need to ensure that, yes, growth is important, and we are growing like never before, and it's an and, we are achieving more than ever before. And that's a fact, and that's why you see all those green dots in Houston. This is a 2-year change in reading across the exams. And you can see the tremendous growth. Just to put it in perspective, in any 1 year, if the district at a grade level grew 2 points in any 1 year, that would be a good thing. Think about it. Over several years, you really move the needle on achievement. Well, you can see the growth. I'm looking at the screen back there, but you see it behind me. Here, you can see the growth well above even good growth and good achievement. And then this is your math scores. Same thing. You can see double digits in many cases. That's what we've done in HISD. A couple more slides. I won't bore you with, there's lots of data. Let me just give you a couple more slides. In this case right here, you can see this is high school's 5 end of course exam. Algebra 1, English 1, English 2, history, and biology. And you can see we were way behind the state average, and now we are above the state average in 3 of them, or 2 of them, and close in 3 of them, and close in 2 of them. So we are either beating the state average or we're really close to beating, and we hadn't done that before. In our math exams, we have 5 of them, or 6 of them that I just showed you. In Algebra 1, there's 7 exams total for math. We're above the state average in 5 of them. We've never done that in HISD. Above the state average in achievement, the kids who can meet or exceed the state the expectations. And then finally, achievement gap. I'm going to challenge you to report on the achievement gap, because that's part of the mission statement. I said 2 years ago that we would narrow significantly the achievement gaps. The other part of the vision statement is we would prepare kids for the year 2035, and that's an ongoing process. We're not done yet, but I said then that the way to narrow the achievement gap is not to bring our top performing kids down, but to bring the top performing kids up, but bring the lower performing kids even higher. And that is exactly what has happened. This sort of gain in narrowing the gap has not happened before either. So you can see our white students did very well in the last 2 years. They've grown 7 points higher. But our black and Hispanic kids have grown even more. That's exactly how you're supposed to close the achievement gap. And our kids have done it, our teachers have done it. And this is a real success story for a district with 85% African American and Hispanic students. This is a real success story on how they're closing it. Are they done? No, the gap was even, really large, 30%, sometimes 35%, depending on the grade. So yes, we've moved the needle, but we got a lot more work to do, that's for sure. But there's no question the gap is not staying the same like it has in the nation. And this is math. Not as good as reading, but still really significant gain or closure of the gap. So that's what we've done in the last 2 years. And the hope and the belief is that our kids, all kids, can learn and achieve at high levels. We've broken the myth that a student who is poor and minority can't learn at high levels. That those schools have to be low performing. That myth is gone now. And anybody out there who says it's too tough to do, we can't do it, they can't learn because of whatever excuses, in HISD we're saying no, they can. You raise the expectations for kids, they will meet it. We raise the expectations. People have actually complained that it's too rigorous, and yet the kids have met it. We raise the expectations for teachers, and yet the teachers have met it. That's what it takes to get the kind of results we're getting. So, This year, no child entered a failing school, and thousands more kids, 70,000, are in A and B campuses. That's a huge number. And what it means in the end of the day, it's opportunity for our students, a better chance at getting a livable wage, a better chance at going to college and staying in college, or getting a high wage, high demand, high skilled job. That's what the numbers mean at the end of the day. So we've had historic outcomes, and just real quick, since I know you're always interested in how we got there, that's a little tongue-in-cheek because nobody asked me enough about how, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we got there. And the how is rigorous focus on instruction, really looking at the capacity of our staffs and staffing in different ways, putting kids first in everything that we do, and making sure we have leaders, principals, and executive directors who are strong at instruction and can help our teachers grow and learn. That comes with a whole bunch of other things like a staffing model that requires teacher apprentices. It means that we have rigorous evaluations, pay for performance, and many other things, all under the rubric of whole-scale systemic reform. But that's what it takes. So finally, let me end by saying, look, I have been and I will continue to say, there is no finish line. We've got a lot of work to do. We still have kids who are behind in proficiency. We still have 18 D-rated schools. We have 50 C-rated schools. But coming from where we started with 121 D and F campuses down to just 18, 56 F-rated campuses that are now 0 F campuses, 93 A and B that are now 197 A and B campuses, we can make this promise so that all can mean all. And that is the Houston Promise. We've made history already. We're going to make it again because in 2 years, HISD will only have A and B rated campuses. That is the Houston Promise. We spent this afternoon and the last couple days engaging different community partners. We were at the Greater Houston Partnership. We already have a number of people who are going to, organizations that are going to partner with us to make this so. As HISD goes, so goes Houston. This is all of our success and all of our future effort to make sure that all of our schools are high performing. No other district in the nation would even attempt this. But we're the first ones that are in a position to do it. The team and the staff and the kids believe we can do it. We will do it, and that will redound to the benefit of all Houstonians, not just the kids in HISD. And before I take questions, let me just show you a quick video about this Houston Promise, and then I promise to take questions. We're going to start that over, right? Because we want the sound. Give me a second, guys. Margaret, that is not AI generated. That is from Microsoft Word or something like that. Yeah. We're in this together.
Every Every student deserves a school where they can thrive. We're going to show them that the impossible is actually possible.
On my STAR test, I want to master again like how I did last year, and we beat the state.
Have high quality instruction in every classroom and every day in every school.
Zip code does not dictate destiny. We're on the way, and a lot of progress has been made in all parts of the district, and I think it can happen. It's going to take strategy, it's going to take good instruction, it's going to take good coaching, but we can do it.
From going to D to B, it's been a really big leap. I feel like the school has changed in a lot of that time from that, and I feel like over time, I feel like we really strive to go better and better, and I think this year we will make it.
We are attempting to ensure that all of our kids are on grade level, right? They're reading on grade level, their math is on grade level, so this is just the beginning.
So the teachers have, I feel like, gotten better, and the school spirit, I feel, has just improved overall because of the success they're seeing from this course.
I've seen them grow in their confidence and their ability. I have about a little over 100 kids going to HCC every single day where they're taking college classes. So proud of themselves. Like when they came in yesterday afternoon, a girl said, I said, what's that new attitude? She says, I'm a college student. Like that, and swings her hair. I said, oh, congratulations on being a college student. So it's something that they've never had before.
I feel like it's mainly due to the work of the counselors and the principal. They all contribute to one cause, and it really has helped us a lot. I feel like as time progresses, we will definitely improve.
You walk the halls, you see their faces, you see their enthusiasm. They love school. We don't have children that are saying they don't want to come to school. They absolutely love seeing their teachers, being with their friends, learning, growing.
This school is like home away from home. It really is just, I feel like we're receiving like private school education in a public school setting, which is phenomenal.
You know, I drove all the way from West She's going to Emerson School, and coming here today, I am happy, I am excited because at least we have the school bag, we have all the books, the pen, and everything.
Professional development that we're getting is definitely the reason why we're seeing less DNF schools, and I truly believe that within the upcoming future that HISD will only have A and B campuses.
What gives me encouragement is the faces of the kids, the parents. Like at my school, we have over 46 different languages. Kids literally coming from around the world, and seeing their starting point to their ending point. It's nothing but amazing.
I'm all in on the Houston Promise.
And I believe in the Houston Promise.
I am all in on the Houston Promise.
I believe in the Houston Promise.
We went from a D school to a B. Yeah, we beat the state.
All right. Yes, we did, and we will beat the nation. Who's got the first question? Maggie?
When you said you've got a number of partnerships that are going to help you, what kind of...
Do you want to answer this, Alex?
Okay, when you say you help of a whole lot of partnerships, what kind of help are they giving?
So we announced today to a group of business and community leaders at the GHP the idea of adopting a school. There are 64 schools that are district run right now that have a C or D rating. So what we've asked community organizations to do, it's just so you know the date, it's 67 total, but 3 of those are in district charters. That's how we got to the number 64. But 64 current campuses that have a C or D rating, and we've asked community organizations, businesses, nonprofits, anyone that wants to participate in this to sign up to sponsor a school. And so what that is 2 teacher appreciation lunches, a student celebration, sponsoring that, a campus cleanup or beautification day, whatever the principal thinks makes the most sense, and then a donation for the principal to use at their discretion towards academic needs of students. It's a small dollar donation, but it's just the idea of having community organizations be the wind in the sails of the 64 schools that have a lot of hard work to do this year to make sure that they can achieve that A or B rating. And there'll be some other opportunities. There's a couple funds that people can donate to if they want to help in a specific area at HISD, like literacy, numeracy, college access. But the main push is for adopting a school. And then just following HISD, celebrating our kids, and being supportive of this big idea, this big ambitious goal that the Houston Promise can be achieved.
Wanted to ask about the STAR overhaul bill. I know that's a few years out, but is HISD going to participate in the pilot program that starts at like a year before? And then I know the goal is to have the exit criteria met by then, but if it wasn't met by 2027-28, how would the change affect meeting that exit criteria?
So I don't know if we'll participate in the pilot program. The current STAR assesses whether kids can read at grade level and do math at grade level. The new STAR will also do the same. Yes, it's broken down into more progress, smaller exams, but there's 3 of them, and it will monitor the progress. We monitor the progress right now through NWEA. We have a correlation between NWEA and STAR. So what I'm saying is, we will meet the exit criteria by the time the new STAR comes around, but it wouldn't matter. Our focus is on the high quality instruction and making sure kids can read at grade level and do math at grade level and do all the other 20 subjects at grade level. And regardless of the changes in STAR, I'm sure and confident that more of our kids are going to read at grade level, more of our kids are going to do math at grade level, regardless of the type of test that it's measured. We've shown on NWEA, on DIBELS, on NAEP, that our kids are growing and meeting expectations for their grade level subject.
So what happens in 2027 if, knock on wood, that the district doesn't meet that goal of all A, B, and schools? What kind of accountability will take place at the district level if that goal isn't met?
Okay, I was going to say something, but I got the nod from my comms person not to go there. So let me say this. Look, we've already made history. That's number one. Number two, this is the biggest goal and challenge that any urban district has ever made. And if we fall a little short, so what? We already have 193 A and B schools, or 197 A and B schools, and we'll have, let's say we fall 5 short, and we're going to have 255 or 260 A and B schools. That's incredible. So we're going to call that a win.
Did you want to?
No.
Okay. Fort Worth looks like it may be taken over by the state. There's another one, district. Beaumont's not great. What I wanted to know was, would you see a difference depending on what those districts to how you approached it here, or do you think your program fits any school district in Texas? And can you then sell the program and make money?
No, we're not going to sell the program and make money, that's for sure. But look, I can't speak to any one district. Obviously, every district has different circumstances. But I can tell you this. Our focus on the quality of instruction and rigorous instructional practices, teaching at grade levels with scaffolds, monitoring the instruction and supporting the teachers on instruction, those are practices that should be done everywhere where kids struggle, everywhere. They work, and it's just what our profession knows works. So if Fort Worth is taken over, any district, I don't know about Fort Worth, but any district they should be using instructional practices that we use, and also the intensity and the focus on the instruction.
Will accountability ratings boosts be factored into teacher evaluations? And if so, what component will they be factored into?
So right now, the teacher evaluation has STAR exam results and NWEA and other, for example, in kindergarten, they use Circle exam, or first grade, they use Dibble. So there are common assessments that are being used for the achievement portion of teachers. And so to the extent that STAR is part of accountability, I guess the answer is yes, in some fashion.
Go ahead, Les.
Okay. Do you have it, right now, does HISD track the students who have already gone on to college, not who are taking combined courses, but gone on to college, to see how they're faring in different colleges? And the reason I ask that is because there's been a lot of questions about whether they read enough books to then be confronted with a college-level English class.
So, it's a myth that they don't read any books. That our high school students read a lot of books, and even our elementary and middle school students read novels. So I don't know if there will be any correlation you can do with the past with regard to that. So the short answer is we are tracking kids and whether they are completers in college. The state does as well. So right now, with regard to the last 2 years, it's early days yet, but we'll see.
Did you have one?
What do you say to parents that are still not happy with the results that you're mentioning? And also, I'm going to add to the question that he asked just earlier. What about if 2027 comes and the parents of these 18D and 50C rating schools are not happy with the results?
So first of all, I don't think there are a lot of parents who are not happy with the results. These are the biggest gains ever. And when I go to schools and I talk to parents, or I talk to the teachers and the kids, I was at Gregory Lincoln today. The kids are happy, the teachers are happy with their success from last year to this year. And most schools have increased. Yes, there are some schools that are still D and C. And our attempts to grow those schools from a C to a B, and from a D to a C to a B, or skipping C's and go from D to B, I think most of the parents would welcome. And I have great confidence that we'll get there. We went from 121 D and F campuses to 16. The odds are now in our favor. Now, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to take those 50 C's and we'll make them A's or B's, and the same with the D schools. And I can say that with fair confidence because we've already proven it can be done. Now, having said that, it's going to be a lot of work. Sometimes when you're losing weight and you have to lose 50 pounds, the last 8 pounds are probably the hardest. But so it's going to be hard. But this team, this group of teachers, this group of administrators, and these kids have shown that they will rise to the level of expectation. So we set a big goal, true, and we're going to go after that, and I have confidence that we're going to make it.
When you said 16 before, we meant 18. That was a misspeak. Just if anybody's
18, yeah, sorry, 18 Ds. I don't know why I said 16.
Can I talk?
Actually.
Are you planning at all to move some of the most productive the teachers who've succeeded in your system to these C and D schools?
So, you know that we have a pay-for-performance system, and the NES orbit has already moved people, some of our most effective teachers to the lowest performing schools. With regard to C and D, the reason why the answer is generally no, because we have the staff we have there. But if we have excess teachers in the NES orbit, we'll be moving some of them to C&D schools if there are vacancies.
Let's do one more question, or two more. Clara, so you have another one back there.
I know this isn't unique to HISD, but there's been enrollment declines over the last few years. Do you anticipate that to affect accountability ratings either positively or negatively? And in what ways do you maybe strategize or kind of try to think ahead of what might happen there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And the answer is, I don't know how it might. Well, we actually are doing an analysis once the dust settles and we get our, sorry to use a technical term, PEAMS report on enrollment. Then we will do an analysis of who left, why, and things like that. But with regard to strategy, the way to do this is teach effectively every day the kids that you have in front of you. There's no strategizing for whether enrollment decreases or increases. Every single school, every single classroom, we need to focus on instruction and make sure we have effective teachers. And that's the strategy for anything, any eventuality.
I wanted to ask about some of the reported confusion around SB 12's medical consent forms. And I know the TEA had released guidance yesterday that made it clear first aid should be administered regardless of the consent forms. So I wanted to ask you if you had any message to nurses working in HISD that maybe are uncertain of their agency in regards to the new consent form rolling out. And there's a second part if you guys have more information on the consent form as it stands.
I don't have all the information I need to answer that question, so I'm going to defer.
We can get more information for you on that. And if the message for nurses right now is they should reach out to our Health and Medical Services Department, who's tracking those changes very closely. Last thing we appreciate you all coming today, and we appreciate your questions. To make sure that we don't kind of lose the forest through the trees and the message of today, because there's always a lot happening in HISD and interesting things to report on. This goal of having only A and B schools in the district by 2027 is the most ambitious goal probably ever set by a public school system of this size and scale. And the intention is to make sure that all of our educators and all of our students have something even more ambitious to shoot towards, to make sure everybody can reach toward the sky and stars and make sure that all means all in this district. No matter what, this is going to help kids do better. It's going to help teachers teach better. We already have gone from 121 DNF campuses to now only 18 DNF campuses, and now we're trying to eliminate all of the C and D campuses in the district. The motivation is for everyone to do better, and if we fall a little short, we've still set an incredibly ambitious goal. So I hope that that's what you're taking away from today and that you keep following the progress with us.
And let me end by saying this. The whole transformation, anytime you do something really, really hard, it starts with the belief that it can be done. 2 years ago, when if I had set the same goal, most people would not have believed, even teachers and principals would not have believed we could do it. 121 DNF schools to all A and B schools, really, Mr. Miles? Is that can we possibly do that? There's a lack of belief. 2 years later, we have changed that. We've broken the myth that kids can't grow and we can't change quickly enough. We've broken that myth. Now, if you go to schools and you ask teachers and principals, well, you saw some of it on the video, but if you actually go to the schools and talk to the principals, they're going to say it can be done. They're willing. They're going to do it because they believe we can. So I'm hoping that it's not just the education system, but the community at large that believes that HISD can meet this goal, and we will rise to the level of expectations. Our kids will, and our teachers will, our principals will, our schools will. Thanks for your time today.